The incredible life of gorillas. Amazing facts, emotions, and brilliant intelligence. They live in the planet's densest and most humid forests, far from human eyes. But they share with us emotions, behaviors, and a surprisingly complex social structure. In this documentary, we'll dive into the daily life of gorillas, revealing scientific facts, intriguing curiosities, and exciting footage that shows how these primates communicate, protect their young, and even demonstrate empathy. You'll understand how the intelligence of these animals impresses even the most experienced biologists, and why knowing about gorilla life is essential for anyone interested in nature, evolution, and animal behavior. If you've ever wondered how much we really know about our closest relatives on the evolutionary scale, this video will surprise you and show that deep down, they have much more of us in them than we imagine. Chapter 1. The Origin of Giants. Who are the gorillas? They are the largest living primates on the planet. With an imposing presence, broad chests and powerful arms, but also peaceful and social. They belong to the Hominidae family, the same as humans, chimpanzees and orangutans, sharing more than 98% of their DNA with us. This genetic proximity reveals evolutionary bonds that help us better understand who we are as a species. Today, scientists recognize two major groups: the Western gorilla, found in Cameroon, Nigeria, and Gabon, and the Eastern gorilla, present in Uganda, Rwanda, and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Within them, there are subspecies adapted to each environment, such as the mountain gorilla, with thick fur for the cold, and the Western gorilla, smaller and adapted to the humid climate of tropical forests. Fossil studies show that gorillas separated from the human evolutionary line about 10 million years ago. Since then, they've followed their own path, but still reveal behaviors that remind us of our own. They are intelligent, capable of learning through observation, communicating through gestures and vocalizations, and expressing emotions like affection and empathy. Despite this, their image has been marked by myths that portrayed them as aggressive creatures. In reality, they avoid confrontations whenever possible. When a silverback gorilla beats its chest, the gesture is ritualistic, a way to assert leadership without resorting to violence. Knowing the origin of gorillas means valuing their complexity and understanding that preserving this species also means protecting part of our own history on Earth. And it's in this bond with the forest, their true home, that we begin to discover how these silent giants live and survive. Chapter 2. The Jungle as Home. Where and how gorillas live. To understand gorillas, you need to enter the forest that shelters them, a humid, dense environment often shrouded in mist. There, among giant trees and vines, these giants walk on the ground, in territories that vary according to subspecies. The mountain gorilla inhabits high regions of Rwanda and Congo, where the cold climate and thick vegetation shape their thicker fur. Western gorillas live in humid tropical forests, warmer and lower, adapted to environments of vines and broad leaves. The forest provides shelter and food. Herbivores, they consume leaves, stems, fruits and roots, reaching 30 kilos of vegetation per day. They move about 2 kilometers daily, always in silence. Unlike territorial animals, they don't mark boundaries aggressively. Their movements help spread seeds and renew the soil, showing their importance for ecosystem balance. At sunset, they build nests of leaves and branches on the ground or in low shrubs. This daily habit ensures safe rest and reveals planning. In the dense vegetation, communication is done through touches, looks, and soft vocalizations. This way they maintain group cohesion, even when the forest limits visibility. Despite their adaptation, human impact threatens this balance. Deforestation, mining and fires reduce vital space, forcing them to abandon old routes and food sources. The forest is not just scenery, but part of the gorilla's very life. And understanding this connection is the first step to realizing that their survival depends on preserving this environment. It's within this home, shaped by the forest, that the social organization that sustains their communities emerges. Chapter 3. The Heart of the Family. Social Structure of Gorillas. Behind the impressive strength of gorillas exists an organized and balanced society. They live in family groups composed of 5 to 30 individuals. At the center is the silverback male gorilla, recognized by the silver stripe on his back that appears at maturity. More than a leader, he is protector and guide, responsible for deciding movements, ensuring food and maintaining group safety. His authority is based on trust, not violence. Around him, adult females care for the young, transmitting values and behaviors essential for community life. The little ones are the heart of the family, learning through play, observation and imitation. Young males, known as blackbacks, remain in the group until adolescence. Later, they may disperse to form new families or challenge the leadership of another silverback. Coexistence is marked by bonds of affection, touches, soft vocalizations and grooming. The act of cleaning each other's fur strengthen bonds and reduce tensions. When there are conflicts, interventions are quick, and balance returns with gestures of reconciliation. Even in the face of crises, such as losing a member, the group reorganizes, caring for orphans and maintaining cohesion. This social structure reveals that the life of gorillas goes far beyond survival. It's built on respect, care, and cooperation. Each family is a microcosm of values that remind us of our own. Responsible leadership, protection of the most fragile and harmonious coexistence. It's within this collective dynamic that gorillas learn to communicate, developing a system rich in gestures, looks and sounds that sustains life in the forest. Chapter 4. Silent Communication. Calls, looks and gestures. In the dense forest, where visibility is limited, gorillas have developed sophisticated forms of communication. They don't speak like us, but their gestures, sounds and looks carry clear messages. Each vocalization, each posture is part of a complex system that ensures group cohesion. They produce more than 20 different types of sounds. Soft grunts convey calm, huffs indicate alert, sharp screams reveal stress. The famous chest beating, done by the silverback, can demonstrate strength, warn intruders, or assert leadership. Studies show that the sound varies according to the male's size, functioning as an auditory signature. Eye contact is also important. A fixed stare can mean challenge, while looking away expresses submission or tranquility. Between mothers and young, the look is a sign of affection and recognition. Touches play a similar role. A supporting hand transmits security. A caress seals alliances, and grooming reinforces trust. Body language completes this repertoire. An erect body communicates authority, while gentle movements indicate receptivity. Young ones learn these rules by imitating adults in a constant socialization process. Silence is also communication. In moments of rest or facing threats, the absence of sounds reveals strategy and attention to the environment. Cases in captivity, like the gorilla Coco, show how far this capacity goes. She learned human signs, expressing feelings like joy and sadness. Proof that behind the imposing appearance exists a deeply sensitive being. This network of signals reveals that the life of gorillas depends on subtle connections. And it's precisely this social intelligence that opens the way to understanding another fascinating aspect: their memory, their strategies, and their surprising ability to learn. Chapter 5. Intelligence in the Jungle. Tools, strategies, and memory. Behind the physical strength of gorillas exists a silent intelligence. These primates are capable of planning, memorizing, and even using simple tools. In flooded regions, they've been observed testing water depth with sticks before crossing. Others use branches to push away nettles or build improvised barriers. These are practical actions that demonstrate reasoning and adaptation. Memory is another impressive resource. Gorillas remember paths, feeding areas, and safe places. Guided by the silverback, they can return weeks later to exact spots in the forest. They also keep emotional memories. They recognize individuals, show affection for old companions, and react with empathy to others' suffering. In captivity, their intelligence became even more evident. The gorilla Coco learned more than 1,000 sign language signs, expressing emotions like joy and sadness, and even inventing combinations to create new words. These examples reinforce the proximity between gorillas and humans, revealing a consciousness that goes beyond instinct. In wildlife, the silverback's decisions show planning. He evaluates risks, chooses safe routes, and defines rest areas considering food, protection, and possible threats. This strategic leadership ensures family survival. Gorillas also reveal a sense of justice. In games between young ones, when one crosses the limits, the other protests or moves away. Conflicts are resolved with reconciliation gestures, reinforcing the importance of social balance. Intelligence, memory, and empathy make gorillas much more than jungle giants. They are silent thinkers, adapted to a complex environment, capable of learning and teaching. And it's in childhood, from the first months of life, that these abilities begin to flourish and shape each individual's future. Chapter 6. Wild Childhood. How a young gorilla grows. The birth of a gorilla baby is a rare event. Females have only one baby every 4 or 5 years, after a gestation of about 8 months. At birth, the little one weighs little more than a kilo, but soon becomes the center of group attention. The mother carries it close to her body, feeds and protects it with constant dedication. In the first months, the baby doesn't separate from its mother. Clinging to her chest or back, it discovers the world in safety. At about 6 months, it begins to crawl, explore low branches, and imitate adult gestures. Play, full of running and little pushes, is much more than fun. It's lessons in balance, coordination, and coexistence. Gorilla childhood is long. They only reach maturity between 8 and 12 years. During this time, they learn by watching their elders. Each mother's gesture, each silverback's decision, each interaction between siblings functions as a silent lesson. This way, the group's culture is transmitted from generation to generation. Weaning occurs around 3 to 4 years, but even after this phase, the bond with the mother remains strong. Orphaned babies rarely remain helpless, as other females, sure, and even males can take over care. This altruistic behavior ensures that the survival of the new generation is a priority for the entire group. Childhood shapes not only physical strength, but also the emotional intelligence of gorillas. It's during this period that they learn to deal with frustrations, develop empathy, and understand social rules. And these emotions, which flourish from early on, accompany the gorilla throughout its life. Chapter 7. Visible emotions. Do gorillas feel too? Observing a gorilla is realizing that their gestures reveal more than strength. There's emotion in their eyes, in a comforting touch, or in a protective embrace. Gorillas feel, and their emotions are visible. They demonstrate joy, fear, empathy, and even grief, revealing an inner life that echoes our own. Young ones make this clear from early on. Playing with other youngsters provokes laughter in the form of soft vocalizations, while a fall generates crying and immediate search for mother. This affective bond is the basis of survival. In adults, the expression of emotions is equally evident. Affectionate gestures between companions or mothers, consoling injured young, show social sensitivity. Grief is one of the most striking manifestations. When a baby dies, the mother may remain for days beside the body, touching and trying to wake it. The group accompanies in silence, respecting the moment. This scene, recorded by researchers, impresses with its emotional depth. Cases in captivity also reveal complex feelings. The gorilla Coco, famous for learning sign language, expressed sadness at the death of her pet cat and demonstrated humor and affection on various occasions. These reports reinforce the idea that the emotional life of gorillas is not mere instinct, but consciousness. Even simple pleasure is part of their routine. Lying in the sun, bathing in the rain, savoring fresh fruits. Each moment carries a reflection of our own sensitivity. The emotions of gorillas reveal that they are not just forest survivors. They are conscious beings, capable of feeling deeply. And it's precisely because of this vulnerability that they are among the animals most threatened by human action. Chapter 8. Threatened Giants. Hunting, disease, and habitat loss. Despite their imposing presence, gorillas are among the most threatened species on the planet. Illegal hunting continues to be one of the greatest pressures. Many are killed for the bushmeat trade, and even traps made for other animals end up injuring or killing young ones. Each loss deeply shakes the social structure of a group. Habitat destruction further amplifies the risks. Entire forests are cut down for agriculture, mining, or timber extraction. With deforestation, gorillas lose movement routes, food sources, and safe places to rest. Fragmented, they become more vulnerable to predators and hunters. Human diseases also represent danger. By sharing more than 98% of our DNA, gorillas can contract flu and respiratory infections common to us, but fatal to them. Epidemics like Ebola have already eliminated entire populations in just a few years. Even uncontrolled tourism can transmit viruses and bacteria to these primates. In conflict areas, such as the Virunga region, militias and military activities increase risks. Forest guards who try to protect gorillas often become targets, and instability makes any long-term conservation effort difficult. Today, all gorilla subspecies are classified as threatened or critically endangered. Some count only a few hundred individuals in the wild. It's an alarming reality that requires immediate action. Still, there is hope. In regions where protection has been reinforced, populations have begun to grow slowly. This recovery shows that when humanity decides to act, it's possible to change the future of these silent giants. And it's in this collective effort that stories of courage and dedication emerge. Conservation projects that have become true guardians of hope. Chapter 9. Guardians of Hope. Conservation projects in action. Amid the threats, a network of efforts keeps alive the hope for gorillas. Scientists, forest guards, and local communities work side by side to ensure these giants continue to exist. They are people who face daily risks, often putting their own lives in danger to protect the forest. The Dian Fossey Foundation, for example, is a symbol of this commitment. Created by the primatologist who dedicated her life to mountain gorillas, its team monitors wild groups, trains local specialists and invests in long-term research. In Virunga National Park, armed guards patrol the jungle day and night, facing hunters and militias. More than 200 have lost their lives in this fight, but the work continues. Beyond direct protection, there are actions aimed at neighbouring communities. Many families that once depended on hunting now participate in ecotourism programs, sustainable agriculture and educational projects. Responsible tourism with controlled visits and strict sanitary rules generates income and finances research. Each visitor who observes a gorilla in freedom helps ensure resources for its preservation. Science is also an ally. Researchers use drones, GPS, and genetic analysis to monitor populations, identify risks, and plan strategies. Field veterinarians, known as gorilla doctors, have already saved countless animals from injuries and diseases, increasing group survival chances. These efforts show that conservation is not just an environmental cause, but also a human one. Saving gorillas means preserving entire ecosystems and offering a future for local communities. And as we reflect on these projects, an inevitable question arises. What do gorillas, with their strength and sensitivity, reveal about ourselves? Chapter 10. Final Reflections. What gorillas reveal about us. When observing gorillas, we don't just see forest animals. We see mirrors of ourselves. Their social life, their emotions, and their intelligence reveal a surprising proximity to humanity. They remind us that true strength is not in violence, but in protection and care for the group. The silverback leads with responsibility, guiding with firm gestures and constant presence, not by imposing force. The bonds of affection between mothers and young, demonstrations of empathy and welcoming of the most fragile, reveal universal values. They demonstrate that cooperation, solidarity, and compassion are essential for survival, and they show that these principles were not born only in us, but are rooted in the history of life. Their relationship with the forest also brings a lesson. Gorillas don't exploit beyond what's necessary. They coexist in harmony, returning to the earth what they take and maintaining the natural cycle. In a world marked by excessive consumption and environmental destruction, their way of living is a powerful reminder of balance. At the same time, their vulnerability to human threats makes us reflect on the future. If even these giants can disappear in a few generations, what does this say about the fragility of our own destiny? Knowing gorillas is rediscovering our essence. They invite us to slow down, to value affective bonds, and to take better care of the planet. Preserving them is not just saving a species, it's protecting a part of who we are. And it's in this silent mirror that we find the motivation to continue telling their stories, now and in the future. We've reached the end of this journey through the life of gorillas. We've seen their impressive strength, their silent intelligence, and their capacity to feel deep emotions. We discovered that more than forest inhabitants, they are living symbols of balance, cooperation, and respect for nature. Each look, each gesture, and each preserved life represents not only the future of a species, but also the reflection of our own history. Gorillas cannot tell their story, but we can. Protecting these giants means ensuring that forests continue breathing, that ecosystems remain alive, and that hope doesn't disappear. Each conservation effort, each protection action, and each voice raised in their defense is a bridge between present and future. You, who have followed this documentary, are part of this mission. Share this video, leave your comment, and take this message forward. The more people know about gorillas, the greater the force to protect them. Small gestures generate great transformations, and the simple act of raising awareness is already a step toward preservation. As long as there's a gorilla walking free through the forest, there will still be hope that humanity knows how to honor its roots and respect life in all its forms.